In this video, we'll be painting woodwork, specifically looking at wainscoting. The first step is to draw this on watercolor paper. You'll find a copy of this line drawing in Blackboard for your reference. We will go from this to this. The colors we'll be using for this project are lamp black, mauve, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, yellow mid, and white. We'll begin by using three colors: burnt umber, burnt sienna, and yellow ochre. I'll mix these up and I'll add a little bit of water, and I'll make sure I clean my brush in between. I'll start by laying all three of these colors in a very linear texture, following the direction of the boards. I'll lightly blend these together with some water, but I want to make sure not to overblend to make it look too muddy. Once this step is completely dry, I'll go back in and do another layer with all three colors. Now I'll mix a fourth color using mauve and some burnt umber. I'll also mix in just a little bit of water. Using this color, I'll just add another layer of linear texture to the woodwork, making sure I go in the same direction of the boards. Now I'll mix the low light color using lamp black, some burnt umber, and some mauve. I'll mix these together and I'll add a little bit of water, just to thin it out a little bit. Using this low light color, I'll line in between all the boards, and I'll also do the chair rail and the baseboard. I'll use some lamp black and I'll black out the surround. Now I'll mix a shadow wash using that black and some water. I'll use this shadow wash and I'll paint in some graining on each board. It's important to keep this graining very linear in the direction of the boards. But also change up the direction for visual interest. I'll also paint in graining on the chair rail and on the baseboard. Now I'll mix up the highlight. I'll start with some white, some yellow mid, and some yellow ochre. I'll mix this up and I'll add a little bit of water. Here I've added a little bit more white and a touch of burnt sienna. Now I'll establish where the light source is coming from. For this project, top left. Now I will add the highlight right next to the low light on the right hand side. Trying my best to keep the lines very thin and the width consistent. I'll also put that highlight on the top of the baseboard molding and on top of the chair rail. Now I'm just going back in with the low light and I'm cleaning up the lines. Now using the shadow wash that we mixed for the graining, I'll cast a shadow underneath the chair rail and the baseboard. This will help give these moldings some depth. Now I'll use that toothbrush and I'll dip it into the shadow wash. I'll test it out and I'll flick paint onto the surface. This will give more texture to the woodwork, plus put texture into the highlights. Once the surface is dry, I'll go back in with 3 different colored pencils and I'll add some more texture. And that's it. You're done.